Alrighty, Mr. Gatekeeper here. Hadn't done one of these in a good little while. Here's your Gatekeeper built plastic fantastic box. I built a few of these a year or two ago. One of the guys called it a plastic fantastic. And believe it or not, every one of these boxes I've done in a high quality plastic box, as far as my knowledge, are all still actually in operation. So I really wouldn't do anything bigger than a 4 transistor, but a 2 transistor, yeah, perfectly fine. But anyway, I went ahead and fully loaded this box. So it's got a preamp with invert circuit, SSB delay, the whole 9. Preamp works with the power turned off. There is an invert circuit bypassing the RF through the actual circuit. And there is absolutely no one on the band right now, but you can just kind of hear the preamp working. That's on, off, on, off. Trust me, I looked everywhere. There's not one person talking. Let me turn that volume down so you can hear the invert circuit working. Key, unkey, key, unkey. So that allows you to use the box with the preamp turned on with the main turned off. There's only a few amps out there that offer that option, like Texas Star. There's a couple of other amps as well, like TX800s and 400s and stuff like that. And I think Fat Boy also has some amplifiers that have that, from what I understand. Alrighty. We got a variable in here, which means that this will be a great driver. This will be a great driver pretty much from a 4-pill amp all the way to a 12-pill amp. You can also drive a 16 with it and won't be able to drive it to the max. And the transistors that are used in this amplifier are HG2879 US distros. Within the last 6, 7, 8 months that I've been working with the owner of HG on doing some testing and stuff, trying to get the 2879 to work as best as possible so we can have a replacement part or another option. These are 2 transistors from the ones that we were testing with. So, and you can tell, take a look. Straight from the factory, ain't even labeled. Those numbers on there are for me. He put those numbers on there to let me know they're a matched pair. So you can't buy them from the store. So they don't even have a label on them. I probably got about 15 or so like that at first. There was really no need to have labels on them. You know, he just pretty much made the transistors. Instead of label them, he just labeled them with a marker so I could test. Because, you know, there's no sense of him putting labels on them since we were just going to be using them for testing mostly. But hey, it's good to put them to good use. They're working pretty well, and you'll see that here in just a minute. So you can count that as a unique thing, I guess. You got some transistors that aren't labeled that are test subjects. Alright, let's get on with the show. We're going to be driving it first with a 4-watt radio, and we're going to be running on this regulated supply on 14.5 volts, okay? We're just going to run it on this first, and then we're going to switch over to the unreg supply, just to kind of give you a good overview, okay? Variable all the way up. Got some blue up in there. Alrighty. 1000-watt slug. Almost 80 RMS. Okay. Here's your input reflect. 10 watt slug in reverse. Not too bad. Just a tad bit on the input, but not too bad at all. Alrighty. Now, let's flip on the PEP, see how much we're getting out just with this little bit of drive. Right there about 230, 240 watts PEP. Yeah, right there about 220, 230. Alright, this thing wants more drive and we're about to give it to it. Let's flip this thing around like this. Sorry. Alright, now we're just going to hook up the hot radio. We'll be back. Alrighty, we are doubled our input from 4 watts RMS over to 8 watts RMS. Okay, this thing looks pretty at night. You know, let me tell you what this kind of resembles to me in a way, in a sense, kind of like a small skull cracker amp the way it looks. I left these tabs right here so you can actually mount the box if you wanted to somewhere, but it kind of resembles a skull cracker in a sense, don't it? Just a little bit. Alright, 8 watts RMS, 1000 watt slug still. Jumped up to 150 RMS. Here's your PEP. Cranking in over 310 watts PEP. Alright, here's what we're going to do. We're just going to simply change the power supply over from the servo type switcher. I just really use this supply for reference anyway. I wouldn't never run an amp on this supply, by the way. And we're just going to hook it up to the unregulated supply so this bad boy gets all the current it wants. And I may even hook up an old driver, which I don't really recommend using a driver with this box. I mean, you can if you want. A good stiff radio is all I would run with it personally. But just to show the max in, we'll be back. Alrighty, we're hooked up to the unregulated supply, 100 amp. We are on the medium tap, floating right there about 18 volts. Okay, it's going to drop to about 15.4 volts, just to let you know. Alright, variable still all the way up. Alright, here's what we're getting. Right there, close to around 180 RMS. Alright, here's your PEP. 400 even. Dropping voltage, 15.5 volts. Now check this out. We're going to turn the variable back. This variable has great control, by the way. Turn it back just a little bit more. Just a tad bit more. 100 watts even. So you can sit here and control this variable very nice. And see, there you go. There's you 100 bird to drive a good 6 pill with. We'll turn it back up. Turn it all the way down for the fun of it. Look at that, 50 bird. Great control. Turn it back up. Alright, so we're ranking in at about 180 RMS, 400 watts. At this point, I could turn the high tap on, but that's going to be a little unrealistic because it's probably going to be running at about 16.5 volts. So of course it's going to do more, but it'll be a little unrealistic. So I'll do it just to show you, but I am going to hook the driver up. Alright, we're on the high tap now. RMS. Right up under 200 RMS. PEP. 17.9 volts. Like I said, that's unrealistic. We're going to put it back down on the medium tap. We'll be right back. We're going to hook up the old epoxy 1-pill. First box I ever designed, or excuse me, not designed. First box I ever built / copied, and was held down by 80% epoxy, 20% solder. And once a buddy of mine got all the epoxy off and put solder where it should have been, it worked like a charm. We'll be back. Alright, here we go. We're just going to do a quick burp. What I like to call a quick burp. We'll let you see what we're going to be driving in it. Ooh, about 50 RMS. Ooh, that is quite close to, that's about 10 watts shy, or 10 watts more than what a 1 driving 2 configuration, the driver configuration, would be putting into the 2 transistors. That's about maybe 10 to 15 watts more than what it'd be doing in you know, an actual 3-pill. So it's quite accurate, quite accurate. All right. So this would be kind of like what it would be doing if it was a 3-pill. All right. RMS, we're on the medium tap. About 280, 260, 280 RMS. Yeah, that's 280 RMS. Them things doing good, man. Here's your PEP. So you ain't gaining really much more PEP out of it. You gain more RMS than anything. Alright. Voltage drop. 14.6 volts. I can hear some of you saying now, go ahead and kick the 100 amp supply on the high tap and burp it one time. See if you can't get 300 watts RMS. Okay, one time. That's it. One time. Max in. Let's see if we can't get it. 310 RMS. What you think about that? That shows you the gain is there with these transistors, and these are just the US distros. Okay, these aren't even the ones that I'm going to be using with my everyday builds. These are just the US distros, meaning the transistors you can buy right now, right this second, from HGSEMI.com. That's Hotel Golf Sierra Echo Mike India.com. I don't have to spell out com, do I? I think y'all know that. Alright, let me get these wires unplugged and we'll pop the top off of it. Alrighty. There's one thing I actually just noticed. If I would have took these two 500s out right here and put a metal, I guarantee you it'd be doing 300 RMS on the medium tap with the driver. I can almost promise you. You do gain a little bit of bird when you use a metal. And I know it's just me. I mean, I've never sat there and said 100%. But when I build a box using all metal clads, I haven't run no extensive test or anything, but they seem to do a tad bit more on the RMS. But not saying 100%. I do need to do some more tests. But anyway, this thing is individually tuned. Tune the input and the output. Mic them in. Okay. The LEDs you see on inside the box, they're on their own individual regulation circuit right here on this voltage regulator, so it can handle any kind of, like we were just putting 20 volts float to it, and the fan is on its own regulator, so they won't be sharing currents or anything. Okay, here's the 2 distros running good, cool as a cucumber. Alright, I want to give a shout out to Mr. 073, because he helped build this bad boy a little bit when I first started on it. So his handy hands has been in this box, no doubt about it. So I want to give a major shout out to Mr. 073. So there you go, man. Two distro HG2879s. They came out fresh out the machine. It wasn't even stamped. Just wrote on there and sent to me for testing. The way I look at it, might as well put them to good use. After the testing is done, it ain't gonna do no good just sitting around. So here's a nice little final box or a driver for someone. Okay, if you take a look at this board down here, there's your preamp invert circuit, and there's your SSB delay with relay added to it. Okay, so this thing is fully loaded for you. Whoever gets this, yeah, this is going to eBay. Oh yeah. There's the back of it. Got some good stiff 8-gauge wires coming out this thing. Got some, got the whole bottom little small rubber feet there, so she won't be sliding around. And like I said, you can mount this box if you want to somewhere. All right. I kind of would like for the fan to be pushing a little faster. I think it's going to be fine. If anybody notices the box is running a little hotter than you would like for it to run, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just give you the gist now. If it's running a little bit hotter than you would like for it to, you could always, if the fan's any thicker than this, see, this is I think a 25 millimeter thick, 120 millimeter fan. I think it's 20 or 25 millimeter thick. You would have to replace it with this exact size fan faster, and if you want to put a thicker fan on there, you can always unmount this fan, which would be real easy, and just put a fan on top. Just put the fan on top if you want some more air pushing through it. So I'm just letting you know that, because I was kind of wanting to have a little bit more air pushing through it, but you know, there's air being pushed through, so it should be just fine. Just wanted to tell you that just in case you would like a little more air pushing through it. Alright, Mr. Gatekeeper said this. I'm going to go eat me some lunch because I'm starving, like Marvin. I'm saying 73s. No Gatekeeper trying to get on a new start around here, y'all. God bless 73rds. Bye, bye, bye.